Oh, one of my favorite things on earth, and it's a little bit misunderstood, is a swim jig. It really is. That we shot a show a couple of years ago with Kevin Worth, and I mean this. It is one of the most brutal techniques, basically from April until October. And really, if you just sat here and you look, number one, if you looked in my two swim jig boxes, is if you looked at the colors, there's a little bit of white, there is some black and blue, but the predominant amount of my swim jigs are that color right there. That's a Hack Attack quarter-ounce blue craw, quarter-ounce blue craw color with a blue craw Rage Craw trailer. And that's the one thing I want to talk to you about. All of my jigs really represent bluegill. And the two things that I use the most on the back of these, number one would be the Rage Craw trailer, and the other one is the Rage Menace. And I owe Todd Faircloth a ton for the Rage Menace, and I'm gonna get it there in 1 second. The key to these is how much water your trailer throws. Generally, the warmer the water, the more active the fish. That's when I'm gonna use the Rage Craw on the back of that jig. In fact, we were just down at Kentucky Lake. Water temp was around 60. I'll use the Rage Craw. When the water's a little colder or the fish are more pressured, that's when I'm gonna go to the Menace. The reason why, the Menace is not overpowering. It's very subtle action on the back of that jig. You kind of get just a brrrr compared to when the water's warmer and they're really snapping. That Rage Craw is gonna throw a lot of water. And the other thing, and I said this in that show we shot with Kevin Worth, when you throw that jig out and you're reeling it and one hits it, dunk, dunk, the first thing you want to do is rear back and tear his head off. Just keep reeling until your rod loads up. And the two lines that I use on my setup, number one, I'll just use a regular 6/4-to-1 reel, a medium heavy action rod, but the line to me is critical. Almost all the time that I'm swim jigging, if I can get away with it, I'm gonna use 15-pound fluorocarbon, but if I'm in heavy grass, a lot of lily pads, or big time timber, that's when I'll go to a 50-pound Power Pro. Always 50-pound. You're gonna get way more distance out of 50-pound than you will 65. But the main thing that I wanted to pass on here was the two trailers that I use the most, and make your swim jigs look like a bluegill. And I swear to you, you're gonna catch a lot more fish on it this year.